Hello again. My name is Velda Chiara. I am part of the Django Events Foundation North America board, which runs DjangoCon US. Today is day 3, the deep dive day, and we're at Chicago. With me is Afi. Afi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Afi. I'm Abigail Afi Gbadago, but most people call me Afi, and that's fine. I'm a software engineer and developer advocate, and I'm also on the Django Software Foundation board, regional executive for Black Python devs, and amongst other things. Yeah, so thank you for having me here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So I understand that today you had opening remarks and that you're also the program chair for this conference. Mm-hmm. Would you like to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for DjangoCon US 2025, I'm the program chair, and that entails the schedule, right from speakers to our wonderful keynotes that we've had. It's been a great experience, and honestly, I have one of the best teams. I had support from the organizing team as well, and so far it's been a very good time. We've had really good talks and good keynotes.
Yeah. What is one of the things that was, I don't want to say stressful, but what was challenging when you took up from the previous chair who was there for a couple of years and to now transitioning to be the program chair for this conference?
I could say a lot. Like, there are quite a number of things that stood out to me and that I had to learn because it was the first experience handling this conference. And I would say the selection of talks was quite challenging because there are a lot of good talks.
Yeah.
And we have like a review team that go through the talks, and we do like more of like ratings and all that. And even with that one, with the final output, we still have to make another selection again. And wow, that was a bit tedious.
Yeah.
Aside from that, it's making everything in sync when it comes to making sure that emails go out on time. Also getting enough like people hands-on to do actual work, because it's the whole program doesn't just lie on just a few people, right? It's more like a concerted effort. So yeah, that was a bit challenging, but the team was so helpful. We got people helping in, pitching in, staying up late nights. No, I mean, that's not a good thing though, but we got people putting in all their efforts, and it was just nice to see because I didn't expect that, and I'm so grateful to have such amazing people.
Well, congratulations in making sure everything worked out well,
Thank
and that we had keynotes and we had talks. Mm-hmm. But I'm really curious to hear your experience being a program chair, which is equally demanding, to now being the vice executor for Black Python devs in the African region. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So I would say one, time management. And taking up this role, I knew it was going to be very, I'll say a bit stressful, but I believed I could do it. I mean, I have done it now. I have to split my time in between handling DCUS tax and also BPD tax. And I also have a vice chair who sort of helps me out, so that also helps out. So far, I'll say BPD has been good. I published the article on how far, or the things that have happened under my leadership, and how much money we've spent and what we've invested in, which strengthens the Python ecosystem in Africa. So on that side, we're doing so well, and I'm really happy. I hope more people get to help and donate and pitch in every way that they can to make sure that we have such a sustainable Python ecosystem there. So yeah, on both sides, I'm just doing my best. It doesn't mean easy, but I'm doing my best.
It's working because you're doing both. And take us through some of the highlights or accomplishment that you listed in your article. What sticks out, or what do you remember most about the feedback that you got that you actually featured in the article?
Yeah, so I got a couple of communities reach out, and they go like, thank you so much for jumping in and for helping, because sometimes there's a time lapse for you to submit requests for processing, and the Genome Foundation also runs like our financial requests, and they help us do this kind of accounting. So but most communities like to bring it last minute, or some just pop up out of nowhere. There's a conventional approach of doing certain things, and most often than not you find out that people do things the unconventional way. And for me, I just try to do like the best I try to resolve the situations the best way that I can. And in those situations, I realize that most people and communities are happy, and in the end, it gets to strengthen the ecosystem because people get to be there, people get to learn, people get more representation, they get probably more opportunities because being in those spaces opens more doors for them. And I'm happy when the leads get back and they're like, oh, I feel so sorry for stressing you, but we are happy we've received it. Afi, I forgot to tell you this. Afi, I forgot. We are so sorry. Oh, thank you so much. I'm like, oh, don't worry, it's fine. So yeah, those are the highlights. And also with the spending, we're just not spending money because everything needs to be accounted for. So it's nice when I realized that, okay, this money that went out went for this event, and this is what was directed towards, because every single request comes with the perspectives or the objectives. You see, so when those things are ticked off once it's given, it's like, oh, okay, I can see this happening. I can see like the tangible directions of where this funding went to, and those are very nice. Like, those are good experiences. I'm just happy when everyone is happy, when the community is thriving in the little way that I can. So, I mean, I'll not say it's easy. Trust me, being the executive of Black Python Devs, I thought it was going to be easier, but it wasn't. It wasn't. It's been challenging, but I'm so grateful for all the challenges and opportunities and the growth.
Yeah, they always say heavy is the head that has the most responsibilities, and yours seems to be balancing a lot, and I think that you're doing a good job because all these things are still running and they're still running smoothly, thankfully to you and your team. And Black Python Devs is very heavy on impact and the kinds of projects and initiatives that you put resources into. Would you talk more about the impact that you've had, not just in the African region, but if you would like to mention that, that's totally fine, but in a global perspective?
In the global perspective, BPD seeks to strengthen the Python ecosystems. So aside Africa, I know I talk about Africa, but that's what I'm focused on. But we also have Latin America, we have Europe. Yeah, we have other parts of the world which is also handled by other vice executors. And it's practically the same thing. So the vision is to make sure that Python or the ecosystem is accessible to other people in those regions, and also to stem out leaders. Because one of the things that we realize with where we are from is we don't have a lot of leaders. So in addition to growing the Python ecosystem, is also to raise up a group of leaders or leaders from these communities that can sort of grow and strengthen the community. So with regards to impact, I'll say we've had a couple of initiatives. I think last year we had the open source program. It wasn't easy to pull off.
I mean,
I thought somebody else would pick that and try that this year, but I don't think that worked out. I don't think anyone did, but I'd love to see. I could definitely give guidance on how I did it last year. I'd love to see more of that. We also had partnerships and collaborations. We did one with Prelude Tech. To give technical mentorship and assistance to folks in the community who want to learn more Python and upgrade their skills by hands-on projects. So that was great. We've also had certain talks, right, at conferences. And we've had a couple of online meetups that would help foster all these things when it comes to leadership and the Python ecosystem. So, I'll say so far so good. We're doing the best.
The best as you can. That's all that matters. And the other question I'd love to ask you is in regards to sustainability and how you intend Black Python Devs to move forward, whether you're at the helm or not. What are some of the things that you as a leader have taken into account? So if you want to step down, I don't know if there are term limits yet, but if you were to step down now, do you think there are mechanisms present or in place that could make sure that there's still leadership and that there's still people who are actively making sure that whatever needs to get done gets done?
Yeah, so in terms of sustainability, yes, there are measures put in place, and I don't think we don't run for more than 2 years at a time. And most likely there's a handover plan, so things to do on a daily basis, or how to run things, or things I've done so far. There's more like a report of every single conversation. There are email threads, all that like documentation that will be passed on to the next executor to handle, so that they are not like, oh my God, must everything. So yeah, in terms of sustainability, there's that on that side. And for me, I like being organized. So yeah, I would love to pass that down to the next person, so that it's going to be easier to pick up and do way better than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that we're in a period where also funding is becoming minimalized or not as much as we would want, what are things that you have seen now that you'd like to advise to people who actually want or need money or support in one way or the other to be able to also hold their own local Black Python devs, or even start different communities, to make sure that whatever they know they get to share with other people and still enrich the Python ecosystem?
Yeah, so that's a very, very good question, because in light of the recent funding that has been cut off for a while, I think one of the things I'll say is to try and get together as local communities, because at some point we have to also put in or contribute to that. I think there was one talk in there that when like aside the corporate sponsors,
Yeah.
you should try and look towards individual sponsoring. And I know that sounds like it's just a little, but I feel like if we do that individually in the small concerted effort, it will amount to something. You see, that could be sustainable. I remember back in Ghana with Black Python Devs Ghana, for such events we do come together and sometimes contribute. Like there are certain events that we pitch in to make sure that it's a success. So, well, this is from my perspective. If we do stuff like that, I believe it goes a long way. There are others in the community that it's not BPD that I've been in that have paid like forward, like they always pay forward. They try and find ways of making sure that the community thrives, and the ones who come after also get to that point where they also pay it forward. So yeah, I'll say individual sponsorships will be a great way to go, since like the large ones are being shut down. And yeah, I think that would be a great way.
Yeah, and have you seen an influx in the requests coming up this year, or is that something you can even talk about?
That's tricky. Well, I mean, if there is, I mean, it's understandable, because one major source of funding has been cut off. So yeah, and I've seen a couple of write-ups about it. I understand the situation, and yeah, I mean, for Black Python devs, we try our best according to the budget and what we have.
Yeah,
you see, we try and see if it's sustainable for us to give a certain amount and not go beyond a certain amount, so that we are flexible enough to help like others, like spread out across the regions in which we operate.
Yeah, and talking about now more or less about funding, are you worried about the funding situation for Black Python devs, and what can we do to make sure that the community still has enough resources until the next funding round?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. I'm not particularly scared, because I know that if people are really passionate, I'm sure we will get like donations, but it's more about the quantity, and you know, the quantity is what you could use to do things.
Yeah.
So for me, I would say if you have the opportunity, you can donate to Black Python devs, donate to Django, all the open source projects, because they need that funding to be sustainable, you see. Yeah, I think that's what I'll say on that question.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you're not allowed to rerun for the same position in like 2 years.
Yeah.
What year are you in right now as the vice executor?
I'm currently in the first year, almost at the end of the first year. We don't run for more than a year.
Okay.
To avoid burnouts, because you see, it seems like these roles seem so simple and it's something but it's until you get inside, people could sit behind and go like, it's just a role, like a volunteer role, like you're not, it's like an actual job, but it is an actual job. People in other spaces are being paid to do this. Do you understand? So for me, I believe it's a very good mechanism put in place to make sure that you don't overstretch or burn yourself out in
Yeah.
this pace. So 1 year you could either take a break and come back, or just go for a year, or come back for a second year. It's all up to you.
Would you like to run for a second year? Do you think?
Well, if I'm strong enough, if I'm well rested, if there's the time and capability to do that, definitely I'll always be supporting BPD one way or the other. So yes, well.
You're certain you will, or you're in the deciding phase. You don't have to answer if you
Well,
do not want to.
well, for me, I've had the experience. I love for other people to also come and experience and do more magic than I have done. So yeah, I'm sure that there are a lot of people lined up waiting to take up the role and transform it and do all awesome things, and I can't wait for that. So I'll just take a seat and allow others who want to take up that role to do amazing things. Yeah.
And that sounds good. You have done a tremendous good job, and you have done a lot for the community. But now, one last question: why do you keep coming back to DjangoCon US?
Yes. My first DjangoCon US was in 2023, and it was, wow, I was so new. I didn't know anyone, and I didn't even understand why I was. I knew a few people, but I didn't even understand why I even came to a place where I knew only a handful of people out of like hundreds. But I realized that the environment here was very endearing, was very warm, right? And at that time, Django was a framework I use at work.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, just like a conference for something I know I'm familiar with. And also, I was a speaker then in 2023 for a migrations talk, and one thing that keeps on making me come back is this, like the people, what I'll learn, and the network and connections, and I love that so much. I'll forever come for DjangoCon US as long as I can, because that thing where they go like, you came for the what?
You came for the language, you stayed for the community.
Exactly. I came for the framework, you stayed for the community, and it's very warm, it's welcoming. You get to meet people, form networks, and they become like more like family.
Yeah.
And I love that so much. I don't see it in a lot of communities, and I don't play with the Django community. I love the Django community. I don't play with the Django community. So yeah, I'm so happy to meet all of you and come here every year.
Aw, we're happy to have you. And do you think you would love to still do stuff with the program community or committee for DjangoCon US next year? Is that something you're thinking about? Yeah,
definitely. This year has been the first experience handling program, and I'm so grateful to Drew. In the beginning, I was like, does Drew really want me to do this? Because I feel like, but after going through this process till now, which is the third day, the deep dive, I'm like, wow, he really did a lot. We had Erin also like pulling in the team, doing so much. I'd love to do that next year again, and this time is with a refreshed perspective, because I've been through it. I've seen like the things I did wrong, things that skipped me, things I anticipated, and even though it didn't happen in the sequence that I anticipated. So it's like, why not if you have like contingency plan A and B, you didn't see C. So next year you have to think of C, A, B, C. It's like, there's a long retrospective we'll probably have after this to see the things that will probably help us, like help me and the team do it better next year. And I'm so grateful for everyone who pitched in, the reviewers, the people who joined the calls, the people who replied to the Slack, because at one point I was like, oh my God, I'm talking so much in the Slack. But I'm so grateful for everyone, like putting in the work, joining the calls, answering questions. I really love so many people who helped out.
Up to
they really stepped up. I didn't expect it from certain people, but they did. I'm so happy about that.
I mean, I'm glad you got the support that you had, and I'm glad you had people around you who also made it easier for you to be a better program chair. And one last thing, I know I said this 2-3 times. I still want you to still be on the chair for more questions. But yeah, what are some of the things that you would definitely be able to do or rather, what are some of the activities you'd love Black Python devs to do more in collaborative with DjangoCon US?
I would say a more defined sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a more defined sprint process.
Yeah.
And more activity in the form of like getting BPD speakers to like speak, or let's say give a lightning talk on things they are hacking on or building.
Yeah.
Or even highlighting conferences happening in their local like regions, either online or either online or in person, and probably some booth activity.
Yeah, that wasn't there this year.
Yeah, we didn't have that.
Yeah, that sounds good. And thank you for your service, both at also the Django Software Foundation, in Black Python devs, and also for DjangoCon US. It seems like you do a lot. And I don't know how you do all that, but it seems like it's working for you on top of your developer advocate job at MongoDB. So we appreciate you for your service. Thank you for choosing to come to this conference year in and year out. And we'd love to see you next year.
Thank you. I'll see you guys too. I love being here.
Thank you. That was Afi, ladies and gentlemen. See you soon.